they're getting the inside peek of what it is like to be a public safety telecommunicator. They get to test their knowledge in the very beginning, which is a huge benefit. They get to see where they're at, keyboarding wise, critical thinking wise, and then we get to work on that throughout the year.
The police department, you have to be 21 to be an employee with the sworn police side. So dispatchers, we can be 18 and have all the same requirements as the police department and get their career started earlier and give them the basic fundamentals of call taking that of course transition into police work.
Not everyone wants to go to college or straight out of high school, so I think this gives them the opportunity to figure out what they want to do, still having a good career, making a difference within their community.
You have to have somebody that can multitask, somebody that's very task oriented because you have to complete the phone call that you're on before you can move on to the next one. Somebody that's flexible because this is an always changing and always moving forward type of career. Somebody that can move their schedules to adjust to operational need, somebody who's energetic because the 12-hour shifts, the calls just keep on coming.
And also college is not a no. They could save up for college. The police department does have benefits that can help with tuition and things like that. So this is just a good stepping stone for them.
It's a new service that we've implemented because it was mandated by state law. All PSAPs are required to institute a text to 911 service. It's really simple to use. All you have to do is text 911 in the call location or the call number field and enter your address and emergency in the text field. The biggest learning curve is that with text, it's a much slower operation. We type slower than we text, so it's a little bit more difficult to get information quicker through text. We always recommend, if possible, to dial 911 rather than text if you can. Text 911 will work well with our community with disabilities and impairments. For our deaf community, they won't have to rely on TTY or a relay service to be able to contact emergency services. They'll be able to contact us directly through 911. Another major concern would be those domestic abuse situations where the victim does not feel safe enough to call us on the phone. So they may feel more comfortable being able to contact us through text while their abuser is still there with them and getting the help they need.
We have two major entitlement programs funded by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Our first is the Community Development Block Program, as well as our Home Investment Partnership Program. Both programs primarily serve to provide a safe, decent, and affordable housing for primarily low and moderate income residents of our city, as well as providing public facilities, public spaces that can be enjoyed by all residents in the city. So our ultimate goal is to advance and increase the quality of life of our residents.
So let's break them both down because there are some differences. So yes. We, love to say CDBG, right? Like Community Development Block Grant. So that's what we're talking about if we splurt out CDBG. So tell me about that program and how it kind of works with how you get the money from the federal government and then how you divvy it out.
Yes. So we are grantees for HUD, which means we apply for those federal grants, and once approved and received, we go ahead and disburse to our subrecipients. Okay. So our subrecipients each year ahead of each new program year go through an application process, which is preceded by our request for applications. And once the eligibility criteria have been determined, we then go ahead and establish them and then disburse those funds.
Hi, I'm Mike Andrzejczyk with Virginia Cooperative Extension. I'm the horticulture agent in the city of Chesapeake, and today I'm going to talk to you about the myth of crepe myrtle pruning, or crepe murder as we call it. And you'll see it in the autumn. A lot of times people will come and start cutting their trees back, and they'll just take the chainsaw randomly and chop branches off at a certain height to keep their plants small, and maybe because they've seen other people do it to keep it neat, or maybe because they thought they liked the way the flowers all appear at one time in the landscape in July. Well, that can cause a lot of different problems down the road. Basically, anytime you're pruning a plant, you're wounding it, you're causing it stress, so it has to seal over those wounds. And when you prune like that, it's called topping, and that's going to stimulate growth from beneath the bark, causing suckers to grow, okay? Or water sprouts, rather, on the upper branches. So stress response, suckers grow from the roots, water sprouts grow from the branches. So you're going to get water sprouting on the plants, and they shoot out really quickly and straight up, and they form really bad branch angles. And those branch angles will be more easily pulled apart or pulled off of the plant. So if when they start growing next spring, we have a windstorm, they'll pull off. You have a heavy bird sitting on it, they can pull off. We have hail or other ice later in the fall, they can also come off, okay? So that's a bad thing in that regard. Because you're stressing the plant, all of the energy is going into sealing those and then forming those shoots. And again, when you're doing it, a lot of times people are doing it in the fall, October, September, November, and plants are trying to go to rest at that time, but you're stimulating new growth. So that could be damaging to the plant. You might get some more dieback further on those trunks as well. So then that can lead to crepe myrtle bark scale or other insect problems on your plant. So rather than doing crepe murder, you can thin your plants out by taking a branch and cutting it off at the right location, and then you take the longest branch down to where it joins another branch, and that can reduce the height and open it up if you're worried about disease or shading or something along those lines. If the plant is too big for the site, it's too close to your house or whatnot, again, why prune it every year? Get a new plant, whether it's a crepe myrtle that grows smaller or a shrub or tree that fits the site better. That's going to be ultimately your better choice. It's going to reduce your workload and make a better landscape addition for you. If you have more questions, we have handouts and other publications on crepe myrtle and pruning. Feel free to give us a call and we'll be happy to help you out.
Things have been going great at the museum. We've had a lot of programs and we've got more coming up this fall. In October 22nd, we will have our historic candlelight ghost tour, so be on the lookout for that. And October the 29th, we'll have Halloween at the museum, where kids can come in costume and participate in activities and crafts throughout the day. The museum features 8 galleries that cover the Revolutionary era of Great Bridge, the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Great Bridge, and our waterways, and specifically the canals in the area. The park has a nature trail that is over a mile long. We have a historic nature trail that has interpretive stations, and we're right along the Intracoastal Waterway. So come on out and visit, have a great time, and visit our gift shop. We have unique gifts for everyone on your list.